Hello, pile number one, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look into your energy and doing a chakra reading. So I'm going to be connecting to the energy and just allowing whoever's present to guide the way. So I'm feeling a lot of air energy. Okay, so the shadow work that needs to be done, or that you guys have already done, wherever you feel you fit on this spectrum. You guys have been going through a lot of detoxification, I want to say. And detoxification could be that you've been disciplining an addiction or the abuse of substance. Now, this could also come through the forms of self-harm, in which any way you best resonate with, because self-harm comes through many different ways than intentionally creating harm physically on yourself. Like, self-harm can come through defeatist thoughts, toxic ways of seeing oneself, toxic ways of treating oneself, and that can be manifested through endless of ways. So however you best resonate with detoxification of negative cycles and patterns, outlooks, perspectives and beliefs, opinions, and also how it is that you might have falsely perceived roles or labels in the past. You guys would have done a lot of work, or need to do a lot of work. If you're feeling blocked, this is why. There's an overestimation of a certain role, focus, or desire of wanting to become something. And what you're being called to do is let it go, really. This is helping you to draw out and become more enlightened to negative and toxic patterns or conditionings or programmings or attachments that have been projected onto you from other people outside of you. So I find that really interesting. Sorry, I forgot to clear that deck before, but let's go ahead and pull you some cards here. What do I need to know about the overall energy of pile number one? You guys have been doing a lot of work on healing around abandonment trauma. And this one's a hard one. So congratulations to those of you who are already undergoing this process or who have already completed it. The thing about abandonment issues is the longer we leave abandonment trauma, the more we subconsciously recreate that trauma through our actions, our behaviors, and our unconscious compulsions or impulses. So through this time of detoxification, you guys would have had to have gone through a process of acknowledging and recognizing and taking ownership over where it is that you might have recreated the pain that you were repressing, acknowledging or accepting. But you've projected that pain onto other relationships that were meaningful to you, therefore making some blocks and barriers within emotional connections. 2 moments, please. Are you telling me to stop? Is this a projected thought? Okay, so what I was hearing was the echo of someone saying, no, stop. It's the energy is coming from someone outside of you. So you guys could have done a lot of detoxification around negative connections from the past, relationships or contracts. You'll know which relationships were contracts because you felt obligated to uphold the connection. So you exhausted your resources and yourself in that connection to try to make it work, to redirect it into better positions or directions. And nothing seemed to ever kind of really work. It took a lot of effort, you know what I'm saying? And in the end, like, at first you didn't mind it, but in the end you recognize how much it had exhausted you and drained you. So I think you recognized how it was that you needed to release yourself from those sorts of things, because it was holding you back from living a fulfilling life and being the best version of yourself that you could be, because it was preventing you from moving forward to develop yourself in that way. And the person or the things that you've left behind were holding you back, and that was a part of the shadow work that has helped your current energetic alignment, which we'll touch on soon. Okay, so is that correct? Awesome. So yeah, it's mainly like the energy work that you have been doing or focusing yourself around developing has been about decluttering yourself and your space, your environment, and your connections. We have Pluto in the second house, intensely financially controlling. So you could have also have been in situations with other people outside of you that had possession over your material resources, your money, your assets, or someone outside of you had more control than what you would like to admit over material matters that were taking place in your life, and you've had to set better boundaries with people like that outside of you. With material just came out. I promise I didn't even look at that when I first pulled it. It says material, so that's good. Confirmation that we're aligned with the right energy here. What else do I need to know about them before we enter into this healing session? We have solar plexus, and we also have Saturn in the fourth house. A restricting family. Okay. So there could have been actually quite heavily opinionated people around you that you classed as family, or people that were so present in your life that you felt so close to them that you class them as family. Or this could quite literally be your biological family, but relations through blood. But I feel here this could stretch to people who that you saw as soul family, best friends, soul connections, like a divine partnership, an old soulmate. You've had to move on from quite a few different sorts of people who were purposely restricting your own experience of personal power. And you could have even have recognized this within other like spiritual teachers or mentors, bosses, managers, or people who had authority in some shapes and ways. People who were also kind of oblivious to their criticism. Like, they would say it was stuff that was helping you, but it really wasn't. It was stuff that was robbing you of your own personal power, your own self-discovery, and you regulating your own vitality. You couldn't regulate your own vitality because you were being restricted by someone else's expectations of you, and what you were wanting to experience in your life was being restricted by the expectations of these people. You were worried about affecting people around you. So this could also have been something that you were disciplining within yourself that you didn't recognize was so present in your life prior to the soul work that you've been doing, The reason why you might have also have been answering to things like obligation, or doing things that you really didn't want to do, that you really didn't feel invested in, and that you could have recognized to have been people-pleasing habits as not people-pleasing habits, as being driven by abandonment, because you don't want to be left behind by people around you, so you think that you need to do things to keep them. That's not how love works. And I think you've already recognized this, so you've been placing up boundaries to help you to rebalance yourself, your vitality. I would also say your physical body, because I just instantly got ache. Like, you know how you tense up all of a sudden and then release? That's what I just felt in all of my muscles. So it's like, yeah, you've been recognizing where you feel uncomfortable, where you feel anxious as well, and doing work around building boundaries with triggers that send you into uncomfortability within your own skin. You're no longer forcing yourself to partake in places or be around company that you know you just don't belong in. What I just heard was a song here by Elisa Cara. If you're not sure what that song is, I would encourage you to go check that song out. Here by Elisa Cara. Search the lyrics to the song and you might vibe with it better, because you'll see it, you'll be able to personalize the words in a different way, as well as feeling the energy rather than distracted by the video clip. I mean, you can search the video clip if you want, but I feel like you guys would be better looking at the words and feeling them, personalizing them. It will help you to reflect in on it differently. But the part of the song that I heard was the chorus. I asked myself, am I doing here? Okay, so I feel like you felt as though in the past you had to condition yourself a lot to keep people happy around you, to a point where no one that was in your immediate surroundings actually knew who you were. And this is also part of the abandonment wound that's been manifesting around you. Though you're surrounded by people, they are not people who feel close to you, because there's people you're needing to build more connections with people who are there just for you in your totality of who it is that you are and where it is that you're at. And once again, I think you've put yourself into the position of being someone who only needs to matter when you can do something for other people outside of you. So learning to say no is a part of building the boundary that will help you to build a better foundation with self, that will help you to reconnect with yourself, to heal the abandonment wound, is to re-embody yourself, your needs, to prioritize yourself, your happiness, your healing, and your progression, your dreams. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what it is that you can start to embody more of, moving in to your healing process, that will help to empower you and support the best possible healing. So we have the dolphin here. What you need to do more of is accept your own inner strengths and inner intelligence. You are someone who is quite already advanced within your instinctual intellect. You're very good at understanding your own primal motives. You see what I'm saying? And the more you can understand your own primal motives, or get close to the understanding of self and your motives, what drives you, what pushes you to do what you do, the more you're going to discipline the wound. I feel as though that for some of you, this is actually in your Chiron placement. It's a wound you can't heal, so you feel driven subconsciously to serve. But what happens is you heal yourself through healing others in this placement. And I think this is what's being said here with the swan totem coming out, the dolphin, and also the crow. Through healing yourself, you're learning what it means to divinate healing within other people outside of you. Embrace more of your mysticism, your spiritual beliefs, and your spiritual practices or rituals, is what the crow is saying here. Learn to read deeper into your circumstances and situations. If you've been recognizing yourself to be as someone who can read for others, but you struggle to read for yourself, it's because there's a resistance to acceptance of self and story or reality for what it is. And you'll find the more you inspect the reality that you're in, the more you're going to divinate the truth or clarity that you feel you need to forgive the situation to move forward. The reason why you can't read yourself, quite literally, is because the partnership you share with yourself could also be illuminated by thought. So you're being asked to move outside of the realm of thought for a while and move into the realm of feeling, with the swan being here. This is going to help you to realign to the truth of yourself or your subconscious mind with your conscious intellect. This is how you master your instinctual intellect or your intuition. You'll find that you're also someone who This is another totem that is a master of the subconscious mind. But what I'm seeing here is that you'll find that the best way you can read yourself is by reading the past experiences you've gone through, because you'll find that once you understand your past, you'll understand what got you to your current present. Approaching your readings in this way is going to help you to understand your reality in the moment for what it is, without getting distracted by things that are aftermath effects of root cause. Does that make sense? And that's what the whale totem does. It dives deep into the subconscious mind to retrieve the truth, so that it may not be distracted by outside triggers, outside circumstances, or aftermath effects of root cause. So with the dolphin here, it's good that you spend time delving into the truth of things, but don't spend too long there, because what will happen is you might drag yourself down by overwhelming yourself with truth. So it's important to remain vitalized by doing things like prioritizing innocent play, fun. Things that you know you are naturally good at, you will find will naturally heal you. So this is encouraging you to move forward doing and committing to your own happiness, committing to what you know is true to yourself, moving more truly in accordance with your instincts and your own inner truth, getting to know your multi-dimensional versions of self. So this is like the layers to you. So for example, your ego, your hopes, your fears, your strengths, your deficits, your beliefs, your perspectives, your survival instinct, your ability to communicate, your confidence, your emotional intelligence, your ability to perceive, and your ability to understand. All of these things broken down, you know they are a part of you and they contribute to who it is that you are. But you're being asked to get more clear with these parts of yourself, because you'll find that these parts of yourself have evolved from the last time you reflected in on them, in ways where you literally broke it down and started to get intimate with yourself. And that's how you're healing your energy right now. That's how you're powering yourself through the shadow work, or at least this is how you've brought yourself out. And it's taught you more about yourself, more about what you're capable of doing. And what you're going to be finding moving into the future is, with your third eye being the focus, you're going to be seeing things more clearly. You're going to be much more clear with your intentions, your motives, and your perspectives, which will help you to master your projections and what you are open to receiving. And that's how you're balancing out your chakras right now. That's the overall energy. Okay, so what would you advise pile number 1 to continue to do moving forward? I'm being drawn to my numerology deck. So let's grab this one out. What is the advice for pile number 1 moving forward within their energy work? We have new beginnings. You're ready to move on from this cycle now. You've done the work, you know, is what I guess I'm saying here. And with number 1 coming out, this is saying now you're going to learn what it means to implement the multi-dimensional versions of self you have discovered. This is where you practice in your capabilities and you build. Now you are ready to build from a space of individuality and originality. Now you're able to build free of obstruction, conditions, or programming, which ensures safety around what it is that you're building, because there is no underlying or subconscious, let's call them implants, that could then leak into your future creations that will poison them, so they won't be able to really grow and prosper in complete form if they are created with implants. Does that make sense? I hope so. The advice is just to continue moving forward with the priority on self-discovery, with number 1 being here, new beginnings. You're going to feel a much more renewed sense of belonging, a much more renewed sense of self. And this is when you're going to feel ready to like move forward and towards success. What can they expect if they follow this advice and they embrace this understanding? What will they find manifest if they embrace the understanding? What you'll see manifest is what you've been hoping to manifest. Much more wealth, much more transformation, much more growth, much more renewal, and a rebirth of self, a reinvention of self due to your own embrace of spirituality, which is well-being. Well-being, number 77, relates to you building towards self-fulfillment, because you're building through self-acknowledgement, self-accountability, and growth. With manifestation being here, you're recreating in your own image and in your own individuality and in your own originality, which means no one else can steal it from you, copy it, obstruct it, poison it, because they don't know what it is, because you're creating it from scratch. You're recreating yourself and no one knows you better than you, which protects your creations. Then we have follow your dreams. I think that speaks for itself, pile number 1. So those are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so very much for stopping by. And with all that being said, until next time. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. So before I started your reading, I went into my playlist and I set the intention to pull up a song that would reveal to me your overall alignment and energy right now. And the song that came up was Forgot About Dre, which I found hilarious because what I heard at the same time was Reclaiming Your Position. And I thought that was fantastic. So what that's telling me is that you guys, the shadow work that you guys have been needing to do, or that you have been doing, has been helping you to emotionally cleanse yourself from the influences of outer external forces. You're reclaiming your empowerment over self through the transformation of negative energy and then transforming it into what some people might call unconditional love, what I call radical acceptance. You don't have to recognize the feelings of love. What it will feel like to you is freedom. Because what I'm picking up from the energy right now is that you guys are very deeply feeling individuals. Like you guys, you guys would have been learning what it means to master the empathy. The art of empathy, the art of being able to place yourself in other people's situations and internalize other people's thoughts, feelings, beliefs about situations and experiences through description. And what you've been learning to do is create better boundaries with self about adopting other people's situations, lifestyles, decisions, thoughts, and ways of operating in life. And instead you're grounding yourself into your own identity, your own ability to lead your own life through your own will power, which has made you recenter yourself and start to redefine your environment that reflects a much more accurate association to self, which has welcomed in the energy of unconditional acceptance, radical acceptance, or unconditional love for self, for others, and life. Yeah. Let me just double check. Have we got this correct? Well, have I got this correct? Okay. So what I heard here as well is that you guys are going through processes of learning what it means to self-forgive. And you're learning forgiveness through healing processes after heartbreak. This heartbreak could have been distant in the far past, but things that you've been working through because the past might have had a really big impact on you. And if it's not things like events or people that have had impact on you, it's choices that you've made, that you've left imprints on yourself with. Does that make sense? Oh my goodness. Mm, mhm. So from these attachments to the past, because I'm feeling like you guys might beat yourself up for the past, or things that you do, or who it is that you are. You're going to start to move into an energy source that will be encouraging you to accept yourself unapologetically and be who it is that you are unapologetically. You're going to be removing forces outside of you that have been encouraging you away from the true depth and understanding or embodiment of self, and attracting in new connections that are going to encourage you to step into the truth of who it is that you are, which is going to empower you, you see. And it's going to shift your experience of perception. You've been experiencing a lower vibrational potential of your belief system and the energy. Now, with moving through the shadow work that you've been honestly feeling already, because it's been taking over or possessing your thought form patterns, and you might have even been experiencing a lot more night terrors. A positive about you experiencing nightmares is that you're already transmuting the energy, because your mind is already becoming aware of your fear that is subconsciously imprinted on you. So the system is already doing the work for you, and you'll find when these things are happening, your guides are also around you, influencing healing energy within you, which is bringing these things up to help you to cleanse and purify. So if you've been confronting a lot of your fears recently, if they've been manifesting outside of you, it's happening for a reason, to help you declutter. But this isn't declutter in a way of like, decluttering came up for pile number one, but this is in a different way for you guys. This is in a way of emotional healing, removing attachments to the past, which is keeping you re-repeating karmic cycles that you don't need to be re-repeating. You're re-repeating these things out of habitual memory, and you're going to be moving out of memory and into intentional living and creating. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what else I need to know about the shadow work that you guys are going through and your overall energetic alignment. For pile number 2, please. I just heard you guys are bossing up in style with you working on yourself. People are seeing the glow up within you. We have thought process come out here. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's good. You guys can't see it, so sorry, but thought process came out, so that's saying that we're on the right track with reading the energy. You guys have been purifying the mind. We have discrimination, which makes sense to me, and Neptune in the 10th house, which is major ups and downs in your career. Feels the need to lead a group with Mars in the 11th house, and then we have Moon in the 6th, avoids idle being, and you can be easily stressed out. So the work that you're being guided to do right now is cleansing the thought process, the third eye, the crown chakra as well. And I would also say the solar plexus. I just saw the peridot, which also supports emotional cleansing. You can go and look further into the crystal of the peridot. This energy is talking about purifying and cleansing the energy that you guys are in. That's what you're finding yourself in. It's transmuted. It's helping you to also, the energy is helping you to also attract in more money from living in your talents. So this is where the discrimination is coming from. You've had discrimination against yourself and your capabilities, or what you can truly achieve through living in your natural skills and talents. I would say this is because there was probably a childhood trauma where you listened too much to people who told you what you couldn't do. I just heard it's that blunt. And you thought that people were advising you from out of best interest for you. No. A lot of people around you throughout your life, when you look back and you reflect on your idols or people who have had big impact in your life, you'll find a lot of them were actually judgmental, not advisory. Judgmental. Big difference. Big difference. Judgmental comes from a space of filtered understanding. Advisory comes from an open mind. You see? And you'll find most of the people in your past were not open-minded. They were very skeptical and very limited in their ways of thinking, which halted their progress that you've already outgrown, you know? So, yeah, that's where the major ups and downs are coming from with Neptune in the 10th house. You could have been experiencing this within your career, I would say here, or your social status. If you guys have a social presence, like, I don't know, you could be an influencer of some sort. This is not all of you. For some of you, if you're an influencer, you could have been experiencing a lot of ups and downs within your views or within your engagement. I don't know. Doing the shadow work around your emotional cleansing will help you to level out and balance out that, you know, and help you to progress and move past blocks that you know you're clearly seeing because you've been researching it and following it very, very closely and wondering why. It's because of the emotional baggages that you're still holding on to that is subconsciously leaking into what it is that you're doing. So instead, what you're doing is forgiving what's happened by seeing the life lesson that came from it that you can then use to help better yourself, which will come as healing or cleansing, and it will feel like freedom. So another thing that you guys might benefit from focusing in on is releasing your idea of worth needing to be matched by material, because the worth of what you do can't be the worth of what you are and what you do and who you are cannot be defined by what you will receive back in material. It's defined by how you feel within yourself, how you see yourself, and how you grow yourself. And I think you will find that if you were to connect to that thought form or thought process, you'll start to attract money in much faster and much quicker and much more effortlessly, because your focus will be more so in the space of self-understanding. And you won't be possessively clinging to a form of material wealth. When you cling, you build blocks. Because I don't know how it really actually works. I haven't done a lot of focusing on it, but from what I'm being taught by the energy right now, when you cling onto possession, it prolongs it for you. Like it runs away from you because the intention isn't pure, which means material can't be possessed. It's only borrowed. The only thing that you will ever truly possess is your own soul. And this is what you're regrounding yourself into. And that is what's going to help you to recreate yourself in what it is that you do. And you don't have to be an influencer, but to some degree you will find you have influence and inspiration to people around you in your life. So this is asking you to really live in the truth of yourself. And this is how you're going to learn to love life again, because it will start to reflect true beauty to you once again, because you're seeing through your authentic self and being through your authentic self, rather than seeing, being, and living conditioned through other people because you adopted it. This is helping you to remove judgment. This is part of your initiation into Christ consciousness. Removing judgment, seeing lesson, which is forgiveness. And it's not of other people, it's forgiveness of self, which removes the need for judgment as it is. And you evolve judgment into discernment. And discernment is analyzation of what is. And then come into a conscious and intentional choice with what you wish to do with what is. You see? So what is it that Spirit Guides and Guardians would advise pile number 2 to continue to do moving forward to help them to manifest the best possible healing? We have the black egg and the altar totem. You guys have been working really hard for a really long time to move yourself outside of unwelcome feelings, unwanted emotions, unwanted cycles, or repetitive things that you just don't want to be in anymore. And I want to validate your hard work. I want to congratulate you for that, because you need that and you haven't been giving yourself that. If you have been giving yourself the flowers you deserve, you would have found yourself propelling yourself forward, being your own battery, moving forward. But some of you might have recognized yourself seeking motivation from people outside of you, or results, or material result to motivate you to keep going forward, and that's not healthy for you, with the black egg being here in the altar totem. With the altar totem and black egg, this is saying in reverse, to find the happiness and fulfillment you are seeking, you are needing to accept what does not sit comfortably with you. Through accepting what is not comfortable within you, you will start to build the vision that is needed to accept what needs to be done to heal yourself. Because with revealing the true discomfort and dis-ease within yourself, when you are honest about it, you acknowledge it, which means it provides you with the clarity you need, that shows you the direction that needs to be undertaken to then undo that dis-ease or discomfort and build towards future comfortability with that aspect. There are things within yourself that you don't accept and that you don't like. With the altar totem, this is saying simplify your opinion of self and simplify your vision. Simplify the way it is that you think about what you deem is unworthy or unacceptable. And with simplicity, you will find acceptance naturally. So, you're being called to embrace more of the truth about spiritual work that needs to be done. I think there could have been spiritual passing here that you might be repeating. It's because you're cleansing different dimensions of effect that something outside of you has had in different ways within. And you're recognizing how one thing can impact you on many different levels, which is teaching you self-enlightenment around this particular energy that keeps being so dominant in your life. And what is that? I want to know, so that we can just target it right now. What is the energy that keeps repeating for them that they are struggling with? Community, the types of people and influences you're accepting, the things that you're consuming is influencing you more than what you might consciously be aware of. So this is asking you to grow past exposing yourself to the consumptions of things outside of you that you know are negative. Full stop. The time that you can go back to exposing yourself to these things is when they don't have influence over the way you think or perceive the world, the way it is that you think about people, and the way it is that you feel about yourself. That's when you know you're in full mastery or discipline over the influence that the outer world has on you. And that's what you're working on here. This is helping you to focus in on your solar plexus, because what happens is with your solar plexus, this is all about the empowerment of self. You're reclaiming your emotional discipline and your emotional self, taking that back from the influences of the world outside of you and reminding yourself that you have the ability to control how it is that you react and are emotionally influenced by what takes place outside of you. Okay. Another thing that affects your emotional stability here Pile number 2 is your sacral chakra. When you're emotionally out of balance, the things it is that you recreate might not be relatable to the people outside of you because you're emotionally driven, which is something that is personal. You can share past time emotional experiences and wisdom that has come from things. So if you are someone who wants to share more of your thoughts, more of your opinions, more of your creations, and you're wanting to set out to achieve particular goals, you're being asked to be more self-focused, more self-sufficient, more self-validating, and more self-encouraging. You're learning what it means to become your own best friend. And that's the emotional cleansing that you've been doing. Removing and detoxifying all the things that you've held against yourself, where you've wronged yourself, where you've held yourself back, where you've not nurtured yourself well. And this is the work and the soul progression that you've been doing. So what can you expect to manifest as a result of you following this advice? You will leave comfort zones, and you'll also feel as though you're fully prepared to face the unknown, because you would have gathered all the details you needed to know about yourself to empower yourself to face the unknown. When you know yourself, nothing outside of you has the power to shift you or to bring you into a space of fear, because nothing outside of you has the power to manipulate you outside of your own self-knowing. And that's what the Garden Gate is very good at teaching us. The healer of ages, yeah. You're going to start to take more risks on yourself, and you're going to adventure outside into the world and into life experiences much more. You're going to release your fear of or your possessive attention to material wealth or material or financial matters. It's going to exit your mind, and instead you're going to be reprioritizing yourself, and as a result you'll find money come to you effortlessly. The more you focus in on discovery of self in what you do, you will find money that will meet all your necessities when you need that. And having faith in that is what you'll be healing as well, which is going to help to welcome a more unconditional love into your life. It will also teach you what sorts of connections outside of you are healthy for you and what sort of connections you are healthy for. You're going to recognize a lot more red flags within people outside of you who are abusive of your kindness, and you're going to be setting more boundaries with these sorts of people outside of you, but also building empathy for them, understanding why they seek so much validation from people outside of you, because you would have done the work to understand this within. Yeah, so you're going, by setting boundaries, what you're going to do is help people to understand that they don't need validation from outside sources. Instead, they need to learn what it means to partnership with themselves, motivate themselves, and when they believe in what they're doing, they won't need outside motivations whatsoever, because they believe in what they do so much, that's all they need. And they believe in the love of what they do, which is why they do it. And this is the energy that you too are embodying and going to embody. And you're going to be finding much more peace, much more freedom. You're going to hear a lot more communication about opportunities that are going to bring you balance and expand you once again. So yeah, you guys are learning the law of projection and receptivity. Give and take, cause and effect. From a different level, different perspective. And recognizing it in different ways within yourself and how it is that you've recreated that outside of you. What is the positives they had to look forward to? A healthy heart chakra and solar plexus is what I just heard. Cornucopia, yeah, you're going to be tapping into self-fulfillment. You're going to be tapping into a world that is recreated in your own vision. So you're going to feel much more happier, much more stable, much more fulfilled. You're going to find serendipitous energy meeting you. And you're also going to be finding divine timing is going to be at play here. So follow the synchronicities. You're going to find repeating patterns, opportunities, opinions, or signs like numbers. You guys might also start to hear re-repeating songs. It's important that you admit the truth to yourself, because that's what's going to continue to help you to move forward in healing. You are healers. which is why you've had to heal so much, pile number 2. And you've healed yourself on many different levels, not just the emotional plane, the mental plane, the physical plane, the emotional plane, the soul plane. These are the dimensions that you've been shifting through and getting more clear with, and it's been teaching you more about radical acceptance, which has welcomed more unconditional love into your life. Higher vibrating expressions of love as well is to come in the near future as a result of all this emotional detoxification that you have been doing. So those are the messages that I have for you today. You have a lot to look forward to, pile number 2, and I'm so excited for you moving into the rest of 2024. Congratulations for the energy that you guys have achieved in alignment. And with all that being said, until next time. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. So I've already aligned and set the intentions before I hit record. So this is an off message to the shadow work message that's going to be coming through for you guys, but you've disproved a lot of people. What I keep hearing is people around you are saying that you know much more than what they thought, is what I just heard. You've been recorrecting the subconscious mind from toxic beliefs and ingrained programming that you've inherited from modern lineage. And what you're going to be finding yourself doing is tapping more into ancestral lineage or ancestral wisdom, teachings and traditions, or culture. The reason why you're going to be finding much more attraction to culture over this next year's period is because it's going to be revealing esoteric knowledge to you, or it's going to confirm to you intuitive information or links and ties to the past that you've already had, and it's going to validate you. So you've got a lot of answers. I keep finding myself saying this. There are people here who have very deep connections to their ancestral lineage, and there's so many ancestors that are wanting to connect to people at this time. It's like spirit are going to be much more present in this year, which is supported by the totem of the dragon. Totem of the dragon represents tradition, and it also talks about ancient philosophies, ancient cultures, ancient ties or associations to origin. That's why it's an imperial sovereign or very highly prestige totem. So I don't know, you guys are being tapped into present time wisdom, and you guys are connecting to the Akashic record, for those of you who understand what I'm talking about. And what you're seeing is the perfection on every single moment, even in the disastrous times. So you guys are very well-rounded within your vision, and you're very accepting of what takes place. And this is helping the shadow work that you guys have done, need to do, or are already doing, wherever it is that you fit on that spectrum. I also hear that you guys have explored taboos, or like things that were classed as bad. You challenged the status quo, and you changed a lot of opinions as a result of undertaking experiences and sharing those experiences with people outside of you. You've been teaching other people what it means to do shadow work as well, alongside of you doing shadow work. So you focus in on shared issues. Pile number 3, I want to say here. And as a result, you share information that you retrieve through your own shadow work. I think you guys intentionally work on yourself. Really, I wouldn't say intensely, but very intentionally. Yeah, this is because you guys prioritize your core values, your core virtues. Virtues, are they the same thing? Probably. And this helps you to stay in touch with your core version of self, your authentic version of self, your soul. I'm seeing lots of books as well. So I think you guys probably do a lot of self-reflection work intentionally. You know what I'm saying here? I don't really know. But I just saw the number 49. It was highlighted in green and blue. The green was number 4, And the blue was number 9. So what this is telling me is that there's going to be healing that is brought to your foundations, your family. I think you guys are curse breakers, or like pattern changes, catalysts, the first sort of kind in your family, and you've come here to change the status quo. That's why you guys are black sheep of the family. It's not because you're unworthy, or I don't know. You've seen things in very heavy lights when it comes to your belonging pile, number 3. And this is where you're doing shadow work. You're renewing your sense of belonging, your sense of purpose, and your sense of influence, impact, and effect in this lifetime. The number 9 is talking about cycles and learning what it means to deliver yourself to your results. The reason why it's in blue is because blue is all about divine connection, intuitively inspired, or authentically driven. Okay. So what shadow work needs to be done for pile number 3, please, at this time? We have the camel. What else, please? Panther, cobra, and buffalo. Damn. Okay, so the shadow work that needs to be done here is an annihilation of negativity in your life that has poisoned your ability to selflessly lead and stand in the role of a guide, a teacher, or to stand in the true prestige of your soul. Now, prestige of soul doesn't come through prestige such as role in life. Prestige in soul is talking about unity consciousness, collective consciousness. It's understanding how your best version of self contributes to a better world, rather than how your best version of self or your highest prestige of self contributes to your own success. You guys have found a lot of toxic connections in the past. You guys are respected leaders in your field or in your investments, and you guys have already been down a long journey. You've had to go without a lot of things that you deserve, and this is because you're selfless. You've done what you do because you are selfless. You're a humble leader, and you're someone who is very transformative. You come into people's life as protective forces, and you reveal mysteries through the art of intentional focus. You're the type of leader to get involved rather than to dictate, and this is what brings you so much respect by the people outside of you. You didn't forget where you came from. You didn't forget your roots, and this is, you've used your past to motivate you into better ways of living and to encourage better ways of living in others. Some of you guys are actually quite hypnotic in the way it is that you move. You live very strategically, but you move strategically with speed. Because if you think about the cobra strikes with accuracy. The cobra is the king of its environment, but it's also graceful, and it's enchanting, and it's hypnotic in its ways. So something that you need to know about yourself that you might need to do shadow work around is your own self-image. Pile number 3, that's what I'm getting here. You're learning what it means to love yourself. You guys are so humble that you don't even see the good things about yourself. That's the truth. Like, you don't see what makes you beautiful. You guys probably don't even judge beauty from outer looks. You judge beauty from inner world operation. Like, who are you? What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What are you loyal to? You know? And what I just heard was Loyalty by Kendrick, I think. I don't know. Rihanna. Go and check that song out. I was going to sing it, but I don't want to waste your time. So, yeah, go check out Loyalty. I'm pretty sure it's Kendrick featuring Rihanna. Okay, so, yeah. The thing that you guys are going to be doing shadow work around, it's not even really heavy shadow work. You guys are quite straight in your ways of being and staying in alignment. You guys are quite self-aware. You do a lot of self-reflection work. But there's something here that you might want to pay a little bit more attention to, and this is your defensiveness about your own path. There's like a defensiveness or a secrecy or like a wall around getting to know who it was that you once were, in ways where you're open and vulnerable about who it was that you were, the roles that you stood in, the experiences or versions of self you found yourself in. And instead, what you do is you teach from the lesson that you learned from rather than the stage of self that you were. You're being called to open up more about the stages of life that you've experienced of yourself, because there's more wisdom to it than what you have seen the value of. And you being more open and vulnerable with versions of yourself that you used to be is going to bring you much more recognition and transformation in your own spiritual development than what you might be aware of already. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look into, let me just clear these up. Sorry guys. Do you know what I just heard? Trumpets by Jason Derulo. It took me a minute to figure out what they was. There's a way that I So you guys actually might need to do some shadow work around body image, accepting yourself for how it is that you are and embracing your features more, learning to appreciate your natural beauty more. And the more you appreciate your natural beauty, the more you're going to find sexuality in your life pick up. Say, for example, if you're in a relationship and you guys have been struggling with, you know, experience of physical intimacy, it's because there needs to be growth within your self-acceptance of your bodily image. You feeling good about yourself is going to make you open up more to intimate physical activity. Okay, so what would Spirit encourage pile number 3 to continue to do moving forward? What should they embrace to encourage healing and positive change? We have the dragonfly here. You guys already know what it is that you're wanting to change. It's more so with the vulture being here, taking what you're not happy with or what you're not satisfied with and transforming it. Capitalizing on what is already good in your life and building more goodness out of what it is already good. You know what I'm saying here? This is going to help you to return hope to your life and the feelings of expansion. Yeah, you guys have gone through experiences of learning that self-healing is found and it starts inside. It doesn't come from external forces. And this is what you've developed within yourself, which has built more trust in your ability to make the best out of whatever life brings towards you. You've learned how to master feminine receptivity, which is being able to make the best out of the life that is provided in front of you by the energies and by source itself. So you've been dimension exploring as well. Dimension exploring is what I just heard from the dragonfly here, which is interesting. This is helping you to heal from your past and embrace your present understandings, which is connecting you back to self-discovery, unlocking the potential of you tapping into higher possibilities and experiences of yourself. This is what the vulture totem is teaching you. Transforming visions, standards, expectations, definitions, labels, and releasing the need to refine things so distinctively about yourself. Like, you're beautiful as you are, and accepting the perfection of yourself is what is going to help you to just feel safer in your environments and with your connections around you. And for some of you, it will even allow you to attract in the love it is that you've been hoping for or wanting to experience. So you're being asked to embrace more of your ability to make good out of bad things, with the vulture totem being here, because the vulture is very good at removing rotten things, which prevents further problems. So paying attention to detail and changing what you know needs to change now is going to help you to prevent problems later. And I feel like you're someone who's already in alignment with this cycle, which is saying that, you know, there's not much hidden from you. There's not much you don't know about yourself. And there's not much shadow work that really needs to be done. It's more so you're still working on things that you hasn't sat well with yourself. Other than that, you're doing fantabulous, pile number 3, quite truthfully. And I'm really, really happy for you that you have the ability and the connection to do that with yourself. This is more so embracing your own femininity or your own sexuality. You're feeling good about yourself in your own skin and knowing that you don't need things outside of you to heal yourself. It's more about the opinion and the vision or the thoughts that you have of yourself that you're correcting, and that's the shadow work you have already been doing. So those are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. With all that being said, until next time.